Good afternoon. Welcome to Crocker's Crazy Living. It is Friday, June 5th. I'm on summer break and I'm already losing track of dates. Today I'm going to do some blueberry jam for you. I've looked in my archives and I have not done blueberry jam for y'all yet. So I figured today would be a good day to do that, seeing as though summertime is the time I really enjoy canning because I'm off of work and I have a lot of extra time on my hands. This year, usually for the past 5 years, I always worked summer school for June and then take July off. But I decided I needed a break. So I've got plenty of things in my house to do projects on. I have so many hobbies I love to do. So today is going to be blueberry jam. All right, so for this recipe, I am using the Sure-Jell pectin recipe. Sure-Jell comes in a box like this. Excuse me. And they used to give you an insert on these boxes. I actually have an old insert, but it doesn't have blueberry on it, so I had to actually use it. They used to give you a paper insert with all the recipes for freezer jam and cooked jam, and I'm sure I've already given you that information before in a previous jam recipe. However, they don't include that in the box anymore. And there is a recipe here for a freezer and a cooked. I can't tell you what it is because it's written so small. And look at the top type of writing. It's tiny, it's on cardboard, and I can't read that. Are you kidding me? So, I had to do, everything is going to QR codes, as we know. QR code on my camera, and then it brings up the website for the Sure-Jell, and you can go in there and ask it whatever recipe you're looking for and it'll pop it up. So what I did is I did do that, and then I printed it. So now for my recipe book, all I got to do is insert my printed copy, and then I have the recipe right there. I was looking for powdered pectin recipes in my canning book that I absolutely love, but I could not find blueberry. So I don't know why I couldn't find blueberry. So I just printed it out, and then I'll put it in my book, and then I'll have it. So the recipe calls for about 1.5 quarts of fully ripe blueberries. 4 cups prepared. Okay, so I have to clean and mash up about 1.5 quarts. I went to my local Aldi's store. If you live near an Aldi's, I don't know about up north Aldi's. I know Aldi's is all over the place. I don't know what they get up there as far as local stuff. You know, do they get Wish Farms blueberries up there in another state? I don't know, this Wish Farms is in Plant City. It's the same farm that we went to in February or March to pick blueberries. It's Wish Farm. I believe it's a family-owned farm. I'm not really sure on the details on that. But anyway, we went there strawberry picking, and it was wonderful. And they also have a blueberry field, apparently. And now, this year, I missed blueberry picking because, number one, the weather was so bad over the wintertime as far as freezing is concerned, and no rain, not a lot of water, that most of the blueberry fields around here, some of them didn't even open. And the one that I like to go to is in Arcadia, and they were on the fence about opening. At first they said they're not opening. Then they said they were going to open. Then they said, well, I think we're not going to open. Then they came back and said, yep, we are going to be open for 4 weekends. And I missed it. So, but if you get the Wish Farms blueberries, these are delicious blueberries, and they taste just about like you picked them. They're very fresh. So, and they have a QR code on them too. See, you can do that with your stuff. Anyway, I need about 4.5 quarts. So as we know, these are pint containers, and I got a really good price on these. I got 12 packages for $23. That was $1.99 a pint, which was a very good deal, because when I had bought a few of them before, like 3 weeks ago, they were $2.30 a pint. So it's a lot more money. So, anywho, I need about 1.5 quarts. So 4 pints in a quart. So I need 6. I think 6 of these pints to equal 1.5 quarts. So then we'll do the step by step. So I'm going to get a pot. Let me get my canner out of the way. You might hear my dishwasher going. I am washing my jelly jars in the dishwasher because it sure is a lot easier than doing it by hand. Where did I put that? Okay, that got washed. All right, got my heavy duty pot. So I'm going to pause you and I'm going to wash my blueberries. I'll be right back if I can do this without turning you off. Did that pause? I think it... Okay, what's nice about buying your blueberries this way is they're picked pretty clean. And what I mean by that is when you go out picking your own blueberries, you get stems, you get leaves, you get things. But I'm not saying that there are going to be 100% foolproof that there's not going to be a stem. But for the most part, they're pretty good. And the other hardest part is staying out of your fruit when you're trying to prepare it. So, first thing I'm going to do is mash my berries. So I'm going to try to use my meat masher, and I'm just going to, because I don't want to put them in my food processor because I don't want them to liquefy. And I really don't know how else to do it. My potato masher, I don't even know if I have a working potato masher because it seems like I broke it and I don't have another one. I don't remember. So I'm just going to take this masher because you know what? You can use this meat masher. They call it a meat masher. It's Pampered Chef. But you can crush or mash anything with this thing. Seriously, here, let me move over. You can see what I'm doing. I got a different angle this time in this kitchen. It's a little different. So, you just want to take and mash them up. I could probably crush them with my hands. But I have problems with my hands too, so I've over the years of using my hands for everything I do and working, that I have tendinitis. I have developed tendinitis in my hands. Sometimes these are crushed, but they don't feel like they're crushed. They don't look like they're crushed. It's okay to use your hands too. My hands are clean, believe me. It's almost easier doing it with your hands. Now, if you want to use gloves and do this, you can do that too. But I just use my hands because your hands are the tools that God gave you. I don't mind having some berries that aren't crushed. They're going to cook anyway, and then they're going to burst, and then they're going to mash up even more. You wash my hand. All right. So the recipe says 4 cups of prepared fruit. So let me get my measuring cup. Since I did this in a separate bowl, you want to precisely measure your fruit. So where's my recipe? Stem and crush blueberries through 1 layer at a time. Measure exactly 4 cups of prepared fruit into a 6 or 8 quart sauce pot. Stir the sugar gel into your fruit sauce pot. Add butter to reduce foaming. Bring mixture to a full rolling boil. It doesn't stop bubbling when you stir it on high heat. Stirring constantly. Stir in the sugar. Return to a full rolling boil. Boil exactly 1 minute. Stirring constantly. Remove the heat. Skim off any foam and with a metal spoon, and then you prepare it in your jars. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out my 4 cups of fruit. Two, 3, 4, and those were kind of heaping cups. So I have, they said 1.5 quarts. So I got like a quart left. So maybe 5 pints would have been enough. It's hard to tell. But now if I want to crush up some more, I have about 3 cups in there. If I crush up 1 more, then I'll have enough for 2 batches. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and measure before I get my stove turned on and before I put the pectin in and the butter and all that jazz. I am going to measure my sugar. 4 cups of sugar measured into a separate bowl. All right, so I'm going to pause you and I'm going to measure my sugar. Okay. Got my 4 cups of sugar measured, and I am going to just cut off some butter. All right, so add butter. Okay. So I'm going to add my, is it a teaspoon? Half a teaspoon. I'm just going to put a pat of butter in there. And I'm going to turn this on high. I'm going to pour in my pectin. Where's my jam spoon? I have a particular spoon just for jamming. see it anywhere. Any of these can be a jam spoon, I guess. All right. I like to do the cooked jam now than I used to always do the freezer jam, and now I kind of like to do the cooked jam, mainly because the stirring that's involved in the freezer jam one is a lot. It's a lot of stirring. And even though you got to stir this constantly once it starts to boil, the freezer jam is a lot harder because you have to measure your fruit out, you have to put it in a thing, you have to use a lot more sugar, and then you have to stand there for 7 minutes and stir that sugar so the sugar starts to dissolve in your fruit. And it's just a lot of stirring. When I was younger, I used to get my children to help me stir because even back then it was hard for me to stir. And now it's even harder for me to stir. So I wished I could get my camera to go higher. I can't get this to go any higher. So you can see what's going on in my pan. Can't get this down any further. I'm afraid if I mess with it too much, I'm going to end up flipping something off. All right, so you got your pectin in there, you got your butter in there, you got your 4 cups of prepared fruit. I got my 4 cups of sugar. Just going to bring this to a full rolling boil, so I'm going to pause you while we're waiting for it to get to that stage, because this stage is just kind of boring. Be right back. Okay, so it's getting ready to boil, and you can kind of see in the pan what color it is right now. It's kind of like a, it's purple, but it's not clear. You know, it's kind of like a milky. I don't want to say milky because it's not. I don't know. It's just, you can tell. It's just the berries. So it's beginning to come to a boil. Another tip with making jams. All jam making is the same, except for, the process is usually the same, except for how much fruit you need in whatever fruit one you're making, whatever you're making. But the process is all the same. So if you've seen me do peach jam on here before and elderberry jelly, the process is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the amount of fruit and the amount of sugar per recipe. But actually the cooking process is all the same. All right, starting to come to a boil. Smells really good. I have not made blueberry jam, I think, in 20 years. The last type of jam I made like this would have been huckleberry, and that was at least 25 or 30 years ago, because we kind of quit going to Michigan to get the huckleberries. We used to go up there and get the wild huckleberries, and we would make the jam. and I would can berries, and we would have berries for anything I wanted berries for. All right, so this is a full rolling boil. And when you're doing these jellies and jams, you've got to be careful. All right, in goes the sugar. You've got to be very, very careful, because I'm telling you, splattered fruit, sugar fruit, is very hot. It will burn you really, really bad. I mean, if you've ever been burnt by hot sugar or hot glue, they're equally as bad. So you got to be careful with your hot sugars. You just want to stir. That's why you need a big enough pan. Now the recipes all tell you not to double your recipes. I'm here to tell you I have done that in the past, and it's worked fine. But they tell you not to do it because if something goes wrong, they don't want to be blamed for it. All right, see, now that you've added the sugar, you can kind of see the color has changed. It's gotten a deep, glossy purple color, almost like clear. And that's what happens when you add the sugar. Now I'm going to bring this back to a boil, and I'm going to stir it, and I'm going to boil it exactly 1 minute. Oops, sorry about that. I'm trying not to jostle you around, but I wanted you to see the inside of my pan because I don't have a different way of showing you that view. And then once this comes to a full boil, and you boil it for 1 minute, you shut it off and you set it aside. Because my jars are washing, I can't can it up just as yet, but I will be canning it, putting it into the jar to a 1/4 inch headspace. 1 inch headspace is at the bottom of the jar. Let me find a jar. I don't think I have a clean jar to show you. When you look at your canning jars, that bottom band is 1 inch, and then you go up from there. So you want it pretty full. 1/4 inch headspace is pretty full. I don't think I've ever done them 1/4 inch headspace. I think I've probably done them at 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to place them in my water bath canner, bring that to a boil, reduce the heat, and boil it, can it for however the recipe says to. Process 10 minutes. So you're gonna put all your jars, you're gonna fill your jars, you're gonna wipe your rims of your jars, you're gonna add your lid and your ring, and you're going to place it in the water in your canner. You're going to bring it up to, I fill mine up to the band. I've changed the way I do my stuff. I don't cover the jars anymore with the water. They don't seem to, sometimes they don't seal for me. And I was watching an Amish lady, and she said that she never, fills the water over her jars because sometimes she has siphoning and it doesn't work. And I've had that problem. So I took her advice and I've been doing it lower, and it's been working better. And since the jam is already cooked, you really just need to bring them to a boil so those lids seal. So you put them in your canner, put your water in there, right up to the ring, and then let that go 10 minutes, and then turn your timer off, turn your stove off, move the canner off of the burner, take the lid off. You can let it sit for 5 minutes. I typically don't. Take the jars out one at a time and set them like I have over here, a spot right here where I did salsa, and I just bring them out and put them there. All right, this is done. Stove's off. Moving this over. That is it. From the step. How good that looks. That looks really good. It smells divine. You're just gonna jar them. Like I said, just follow the steps. I will come back with some photos and post it to my group page here on YouTube. So if you have not yet subscribed to my page and you like what I do and you enjoy watching my videos, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. That will help my page. And I appreciate you watching. And I hope you get out there this summer and do some canning. If you've never canned before, I've got some other videos that I've done years ago on like beginner canning or whatnot. But feel free to leave me a comment. I'll answer your questions as best as I can. And I'll see you next time on Cracker's Crazy Living. Have a great day.